Ladies and gentlemen, football fans across the globe, buckle up because we've got breaking, bombshell news that could send shockwaves through the NFL and light up the heart of Texas like never before. Yes, you read the title right. Christian Wilkins, the dynamic, high-motor defensive tackle, the heart and soul of a defensive front when healthy, is now officially a free agent after a dramatic and frankly surprising release from the Las Vegas Raiders, and according to multiple league insiders, the Dallas Cowboys are circling like hawks, reportedly showing early signs of interest in what could become one of the boldest signings of the year. That's right, in a league where defensive line dominance can make or break a championship run, the Cowboys might just be loading up for war, and if they pull the trigger on this move, the ripple effects could be seismic, not only for the Cowboys' defense but for the entire NFC playoff picture. Let's rewind for a moment to fully understand how we got here, because this saga is packed with plot twists, elite-level talent, front office drama, injury mystery, and the potential for an absolutely thunderous comeback narrative. Christian Wilkins, former Clemson Tiger and first-round draft pick, has never been one to fly under the radar. From the moment he entered the league, Wilkins brought unmatched energy, relentless hustle, and a locker room presence that instantly turned heads. He wasn't just a run-stuffer. He was a playmaker and anchor in the middle who could collapse pockets, command double teams, and blow up third and shorts like a wrecking ball through a glasshouse. Wilkins' production, particularly over the past few seasons, has consistently put him among the league's most underrated defensive tackles, and just 2 years ago, he was fresh off a career year with the Miami Dolphins, racking up a combination of tackles and sacks that had fans and analysts alike asking how he wasn't being mentioned among the elite-tier interior linemen like Chris Jones or Quinn Williams. When he hit free agency, he cashed in big, landing a massive contract from the Las Vegas Raiders, who were desperate to infuse their defense with intensity and leadership. And let's not pretend this was some mid-tier deal. No, this was a headliner. Wilkins signed a multi-year deal worth north of $100 million, including tens of millions guaranteed, signaling that the Raiders were all in on building their defensive identity around him. But then bam, disaster struck. Early in his stint with the Raiders, Wilkins went down with a foot injury that would become the centerpiece of a heated controversy between him and the organization. What initially appeared to be a manageable setback turned into a prolonged absence, as medical opinions clashed, rehab strategies diverged, and behind-the-scenes tension began to boil. Reports began leaking that the Raiders were unhappy with Wilkins' choice to pursue alternative rehab methods, allegedly refusing to follow the team's recommended surgical approach, which led to suspicion that the relationship between player and team was deteriorating fast. The Raiders, scrambling to salvage their defensive investments and under pressure from ownership, took the drastic step of voiding a significant chunk of Wilkins' guaranteed money, over $30 million, on the grounds of what they framed as non-cooperation and uncertainty about his recovery timeline. That move alone was enough to raise eyebrows across the league, sparking fierce debate among analysts and fans. Was Wilkins wrong to go his own route with his rehab, or was this another case of a front office trying to cover for its own mismanagement? The situation escalated quickly. Wilkins filed a grievance, the NFLPA stepped in, and just like that, one of the most explosive defensive linemen in football was cut loose and left to face an uncertain future. But make no mistake, this man is far from finished. Sources close to the player suggest that Wilkins has remained in peak condition, working privately with top-tier trainers and keeping his eyes fixed on one goal: returning to the field and proving every doubter wrong. And guess who might be giving him that opportunity? That's right, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you know anything about the Cowboys under Jerry Jones, you know they love a good headline, and they absolutely love to bet big on blue-chip talent, especially when it comes at a potential discount due to injury or controversy. The idea of pairing Wilkins alongside the recently extended Osa Odighizuwa, who has quietly become one of the better young interior defenders in the NFC, has Cowboys fans salivating. And let's not ignore the weak spot in that rotation: Mazi Smith, the former first-round pick who, to put it kindly, has yet to live up to expectations. With his subpar performance last season and questions surrounding his role going forward, The front office may be seriously considering upgrading that position with a veteran presence who brings both production and fire. Wilkins, even at 80% health, could arguably give Dallas more impact than Smith has shown. That said, this is not a no-risk situation. We're talking about a player who hasn't taken a full set of game reps in over a year, coming off a tricky foot injury that historically has a slow recovery curve for big-bodied linemen. Dallas would have to structure any potential deal carefully, most likely a short-term, incentive-heavy contract that protects the team from downside while still offering Wilkins enough motivation to push for a comeback season. But if it works? Oh man, if it works, watch out. Because this move could give Dallas the kind of interior pressure they've been lacking for years, freeing up Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence on the edge to wreak absolute havoc. The ripple effect across the defense could be massive: tighter coverage, better third down efficiency, and a unit that can finally stand toe-to-toe with the San Franciscos and Philadelphias of the NFC. Let's not forget, either, what kind of locker room boost Wilkins brings. This isn't just about sacks and tackles. This is a player who brings energy, humor, and leadership, the kind of guy who keeps spirits high during the dog days of training camp and keeps everyone laser-focused during playoff pushes. Coaches rave about his football IQ, his film study habits, and his willingness to mentor younger players. This isn't some mercenary signing. This is a cultural win for a team that's been desperately searching for a new identity under head coach Brian Schottenheimer. From a financial standpoint, the Cowboys have room to maneuver. They've already shown willingness to extend core players and rework contracts to create space when the right opportunity presents itself. Adding Wilkins wouldn't require gutting the roster. It would just take strategic flexibility and a shared belief that this player, this man, still has plenty left in the tank. And listen, we know Dallas fans have been burned before. The memory of high-profile signings that didn't pan out still lingers. But this feels different. This feels like the kind of calculated gamble that contenders make. This feels like Dallas trying to go from pretty good to we're coming for the Super Bowl, and doing it with swagger. Right now, nothing is official. The Cowboys have not confirmed a signing. Wilkins is still evaluating his options. But make no mistake, the interest is real. The conversations are happening. And if you're a fan of the game, if you're someone who lives for these off-season shockwaves that shift the power balance across the league, then you need to keep your eyes locked on this story. Because Christian Wilkins may have been released, but he is not forgotten. He may have been written off, but he is not finished. He may have been pushed out, but don't be surprised if he storms right back in wearing a star on his helmet and a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas. Cowboys Nation, this could be your moment. So strap in. The next few days could change everything. And if the Cowboys do what many believe they're about to do, then we'll look back at this moment as the one where the chessboard flipped, the defense transformed, and the path to glory took one giant step closer. Stay tuned. We'll be watching.